Hello, everybody. This is Robin Morning with Scaling Up, and I'm really excited to be here with you today. We have another one of our trainers, our new trainers joining us. Tim, thank you so much for being here today. We have just a few questions to ask you so that when folks are searching our website for a trainer and training dates that work for them, they can get to know you and your style a little bit better, and in hopes that it will help them say yes and sign up for a training with you. So if you could, please take a couple of moments to share a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah, hi. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm in Northern California, so I see people online throughout the state, and I have offices in Northern and Southern California where I see people for EMDR intensives, which is a really fun way of working with folks. Um, I've been doing clinical work for a little over 30 years. So I've been in the biz for a while. So much of my time was spent first 17 years or so in working in foster care and adoption. So a lot of child welfare, direct social work, program administration, advocacy, that kind of work. And then the second half of that time was working in community mental health. So those programs with child and family service agencies are really intensive. There's a lot of very heavy kinds of cases that folks are working with. And so a lot of opportunities to do a tremendous amount of trauma work or to supervise or to administrate programs, et cetera.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of what I've done. Mhm.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. It sounds like you have several, and you do private practice now. So you have
Yes.
a lot of experience in the different levels of care in different settings. So that's wonderful. What a great set of experiences to bring to your training tool bag, because I know that
Yeah.
is really helpful to have. So I would love for you to share, what do you want folks to know about your training style?
Yeah. I think that anybody you talk to who's known me for more than, say, 5 minutes probably knows that I'm just a really passionate person. And if you know me for more than 10 minutes, you know I'm a little bit of a geek, right? So I really like data. I really like understanding theory. And a lot of people are more or less really into that. I love it. Um, but when I'm training, I'll focus on that kind of material really with the intent of helping you to know why it is you're doing the what, right? So I really want people to understand and feel confident with their conceptualization of what they're doing and why they might make a decision this way or that way. Um, I like being interactive. I'm a huge fan of role plays. I really get off on doing role plays. I think it's just a super fun way of interacting. So we do a lot of that. I do that in consultation and supervision, wherever it is where I do role plays. So um, I get kind of bored if it's just me talking, even like with this kind of situation. So it's great to have the question and answers. Because I think what really lights me up is knowing that people are kind of their wheels are turning and then they're getting it, right? And when they really get it and that light bulb goes on and they feel empowered and ready to engage with people with the kinds of tools they're learning, it just thrills me. So that's a bit about my style and what kind of gets me going in training. I also kind of like to be playful whenever possible. So, I've got a little bit of a sense of humor and I like to use that during the training times too.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. What a great combination. So, really getting into the details and kind of nerding out on how, some of these connections and figuring out, okay, but what do I do and what's the connection with how it's working and what my client wants and, all of that. So that's really cool. And
Mhm.
then the interactive, playful stuff, that's really important. Keep it light and personable, and fostering those connections, I think, is something that a lot of our customers really, really love to have. So that's I think that'll be something that'll be really great for your trainings. What do you want your training participants to feel when they have completing this training with you?
I hope that the folks who go through trainings with me feel excited. I think that's the biggest thing. So I want people to feel excited about trying things out, about practicing Nacho's protocols, um, learning them well, and really looking for ways that they can see their clinical practice really improved. So it's mostly just motivated, excited. I hope to see people feeling energetic and creative. That's a big piece because oftentimes, with the amount of work that I've done in agency work, I know what it's like to feel really hemmed in, with this funding stream can do this practice model, but not that practice model, and those kinds of ideas. So, generating the kind of creative process and getting those juices flowing so that people think outside their current programmatic or clinical boxes and get revolutionary. Look for ways to engage their community or other communities, or even abroad, with the kind of tools that we were handing off to folks.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really the wonderful thing about these protocols is that they're set up for that. They're
Oh,
designed
absolutely.
to um, spark your vision towards revolutionizing and then also carrying that forward. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up because that's important.
Absolutely. I spent a couple of years in India, and I was working as a teacher and as a chaplain in a international boarding school. This was in 2007 and 8. That's
Mhm,
long before I knew any of these protocols. I hadn't even been trained in EMDR yet.
mhm,
Um, I so wish that I had had Nacho's protocols under my belt when I was there, because this is when the Mumbai bombings hit, and it was horribly stressful for the student body in the school,
yeah.
not knowing what was going on with their families and friends, and having a very hard time kind of managing that news, and being so far away from home. So if I'd had these protocols in place, I think it would have been a totally different process of helping support the students. Yeah.
Yeah. hmm What can folks expect of their training or learning experience with you?
Um, well, I kind of said this before. I'd say expect the time to be interactive. I really get very bored if it's just me like wah 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 wah. So I really like the interactive process because that way I know that people are really asking what's going to help them to learn the kinds of questions that they need to get answered. Um, I'm going to press you to really dive in with the Q&A as well as in the role plays. I love pressing people with role plays because it's the best way to learn.
hmm
And the demos, and that makes up about half of the training. So that's a significant piece.
hmm
Um, Expect to be engaged and challenged, not just to learn the protocols, and I mentioned this before, but to get creative about your clinical work and how this can really apply and make your clinical work very different. Um, And then I'm just interested in having conversations with people. I love to explore what the what the application of this learning is going to be for folks, and just to go back and forth about different ideas and ways that they might be able to step into this work differently.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that really provides a really clear summary of what to expect and also what we'll be feeling, and kind of like a little bit more about how you show up in the space as a trainer. So I appreciate you going into that detail.
sure.
So for our last question, we're going to go in a little bit of a different direction. Share with us one or two things that are really bringing you joy right now.
One or two. Ooh.
You
Um,
can list more, but one or two.
um, couple of things. So I've moved to Northern California, and it's been a very different environment than LA County, where I've been before. My
Mhm,
town has 5,000 people in it, so it's a really different kind of space. Um, so I would say kind of exploring and getting to know my environment and getting to know what the people are like here and what the issues and needs and such are. So it's just that kind of exploring. But I would also say this is really important, exploring where I can play ultimate frisbee. Um,
Oh,
because I'm a huge ultimate frisbee fan, and I absolutely must find places to play. If you haven't played that, it's sort of like a frisbee soccer kind of a thing.
mhm.
So that's how I get my best exercise. Um,
Any luck? Have you found lots of
oh
cool
yeah,
stuff? Oh, good.
yeah. Though it's a little bit longer drive than it was when I was in LA, so it's a little bit more of an investment, but absolutely. And I've got some great friendships that have started up, so that's really nice.
Good.
The other thing that brings me joy, honestly, is this sounds so cliche, but it's absolutely true. My wife, my daughters, we just uh, celebrated our 36th wedding anniversary just the end of last month.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
I would say that these folks in my life, I have two adult daughters. They are the most impressive people that I think I've ever met. My wife's really just passionate about inclusion, being kind, empowering people, and that rubs off on me, I think, a lot. My daughters are just, they couldn't be any different from one another, but they're the most compassionate, caring, um, energetic, and brilliant people that I've known. So hanging out with them,
Mhm.
honestly, is what brings me the most joy.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
wonderful. I hope I get to meet them one day. They sound
me
fantastic.
too.
You'll
Yeah,
have to
they
come up
are.
to wine country sometime.
Please. Yeah, we'll tour you around.
Yes, definitely. Well, Tim, thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I can't wait for our community to get to know you more and engage with you in the trainings. So yeah, is there anything else you want to share before we go?
Come to the trainings. Even if you've already had your life, clinical life revolutionized by EMDR, they'll be equally, if not more, revolutionized by learning Nacho's protocols. There's so much research and body of evidence behind these things, but basically, it just has been astounding to me to see, especially the kind of work that we can do in groups. So the access to care expands so substantially with
Mhm.
these kinds of protocols that you just can't do in an individual setting as effectively. So I guess that's the final thing that I would say, that the nature of the protocols and procedures that we train really expands your capacity to meet the needs of a lot of people.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
What a wonderful note to leave it on. We'll see you
Ah,
soon, Tim. Thank you.
you bet. Thank you.